We are about to jump into an interview with some of the cast of North of the 10, which will be streaming February 10th on BET Plus. The film is directed and co-written by Ryan LaMarr, who of course you know from Rapzilla and the amazing music videos and songs he's done. In this interview, we will have the actors Don Benjamin, Tosin Marahunfola, Wesley Armstrong, and Stephanie Nur. So stay tuned. You always try to have a faith element in all of your movies and everything that you work on. This isn't necessarily a faith-based film, but what kind of message or angle were you trying to grab in this film?
I'm gonna start and I'm gonna let my partner finish.
Okay.
Bishop, brotherhood, having faith in each other, and creating like a synergy through a
Mhm.
team. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you don't have anything, but when you come together, you can make a lot. And that's what like North of the 10, is really embodies, I think.
I'll join on the back of that to say when you're mixing faith, we tend to always look for scripture, and we fail sometimes to realize that our faith is mixed with inspiration. And inside the movie is laced with a lot of inspiring and inspirational messages within the camaraderie of the friends that takes place. And that's what it's all about, pushing them what part of your dream. Your dream is not just a dream, it's a dream laced with an inspiration that God gives you to push you to where you need to go.
Awesome. And what about kicking it to the cast? Did you kind of have that sense in the film, or were you able to kind of draw your own conclusions out of kind of Ryan's vision for it?
I think artistry is such a godly practice. I think that artists are often given their visions and their tasks and their artistic missions from God. So every one of these characters who are chasing their dreams are chasing the dreams that God laid out for them. And it can be very fracturing when you're met with no, or when you're turned down, or when you have to face disappointment and you feel shaken and you wonder if this is even your purpose or if this is even what God made you to do. But it is in those times that you have to, of course, evaluate, but often double down and trust. This is where faith is involved, the belief that you're supposed to be doing this even when things don't always look bright.
I would say I told Ryan it's this whole movie, man. God had his hands on this whole entire movie from start to finish because there were so many pieces that were just like lining up perfectly, from cast members to investors to situations that kept seeming like they should fall through. To it was just so much things where it was like, for a fact that God has his hands on this project, and even to finishing it and to seeing the final product last night, like it's all God with this project for sure.
Because you asked if it was sort of evident in the script, and when I read it, I could feel that there was some kind of a faith element to it. And when I spoke to Ryan, I could tell, and he was saying God bless and things like that. And we kind of talked on that kind of level. And when I met Don, he said, all the people that are involved in this film are God-fearing people. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to get the sense of it. And I'm very, connected to my own faith. And like Tosin said, it's part of our artistic journey. It's very intertwined. And then when we were on set and we were filming, and there was developments with improvising or kind of bringing your own creative collaboration with Ryan, who was so open to accepting kind of our ideas as we were going along on set. And because my character is from a different faith and is from a different country, I tried to bring that in with a lot of little phrases that could be said in any faith, because they're universal. But those kinds of cultural fusions was really beautiful to see, because in the end, you know, faiths are accepted all over and universal. And it's just nice to bring in that little element too from a different culture, different faith, and see the sort of acceptingness of it, the dynamic. And so yeah, Ryan was very open to that kind of, okay, let's put in this little sentence that's in Arabic that says, you know, God be with you. And Arabic is a very flowery language, so there's a lot of really like strong little tiny sentences that were kind of sprinkled throughout the movie, so anybody who is an Arabic speaker, or you can see it in the subtitles, will understand that kind of faith element in it too.
What type of director is Ryan? Did he allow a lot of improv? You mentioned, Stephanie, that you could kind of input your ideas, or is Ryan a script guy? I can't ask this to Ryan because you guys got to give me the scoop on what's really good with Ryan.
Ryan is he's kind of like, give me two this way, and then go off the rails with the last one, you know. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll give it exactly like the script. We'll kind of play around with it a little bit more, feel it out, and then the third one is just straight improv. It's craziness.
Don't lie. There was never exactly like the script.
You know, here's the thing. Like, I stick to the script pretty much every time.
What I wanted.
I just want
This
to
is exactly what I wanted
right now. I stick to the script, and like, you know, it's honestly, as an actor, it's about honoring the script.
This guy.
Doing your impersonation of Steph, like right now.
That wasn't.
Sounds like you're trying to get. Sounds like you're trying to get a multi-picture deal with Ryan.
Absolutely.
That's what it sounds like.
No, Ryan was very, 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 very accommodating. Ryan and Adam, they this movie, more than any other movie I've been a part of, all of the actors really, really were considerate to what their characters' through lines were and what they were trying to express in each scene. So no matter how much lines were abandoned or ad-libs were created, it was always from the heart of, well, this is what they're trying to accomplish in this scene, and this is where they're going, and this is what their thrust is. And also let's sprinkle some jokes on it. And I mean, it really comes through. And so it was the perfect balance of freedom and allowing for collaboration in that way.
But yeah, Ryan, I mean, because I'm a sort of an outsider of the boys group, and I was very privileged to see them in action sometimes on set, and I would see them all together, and they had such a good chemistry and a banter. And I could tell that Ryan like totally saw that and kind of just like let the magic happen with his direction, but was never like dogmatic. Because sometimes you work on a script and the writer is very attached to his work, or if it's the writer director, it can be also the same kind of thing, and you have to be word on word. Or you get an ensemble piece like this is, where a lot of the guys know each other already, so there's that really good bond foundation. And then you have also like, what I love is that Ryan is an artist and he's very creative and collaborative, and he lets you put in your input, which is a dream for an actor, you know, because then you get to really fly. You get to do it just like Wes said. You get to do it like, okay, I'll give you, you know, 1 or 2 takes the way it's written, and then kind of just free flow. And so it's got that kind of like jazz feeling to it. You know, it's like, okay, we're going to go within these notes, but kind of just do your thing and play off the other person and have it be organic. And so that was really nice. That was my favorite part, you know, yeah, working with Ryan.
Yeah, jazz is a good analogy. One of the things I wanted to ask, and I know the whole crew of like the 5 guys of the movie aren't here, but did you all create kind of these backstories for your own character just so you could kind of get in that headspace? And how different or even similar are the characters that you're playing from who you actually are?
I think my journey was more of a physical journey. You know, being a dancer, I had to discover different ways my body could move. So I trained with a choreographer, you know, learning how to do choreography. So, you know, kind of taking in terms of my character, I think personality wise, it's very much like how I actually am. But adding on this skill and this talent was a journey in itself, and really committing to learning choreography and learning how to move with intention was a big part for me and a challenge.
For me, playing a model, and I am a model. It's funny because I talked to Ryan. I had to actually unlearn how to model for this movie. So like modeling comes so natural to me now because I've been doing it for so long. I had to go back to when I didn't know how to pose and when I was uncomfortable with my body. So a lot of the things in here, I had to be awkward, and there was times where in my mind, I felt like I wasn't where I felt like I didn't look good as a model, and Ryan was like, "Bro, you still look like a model. Like you have to do even more to get out of it." So it was interesting for me to have to unlearn how to model.
Yeah, I got so I would Jess our key costumer, we'd be having like these long conversations about I need like ugly clothes, like terrible clothes, and we would have the worst clothes, and we put it on him, and it would look like he's modeling clothes. And so like even like you see the opening of the movie, that's supposed to look bad, but he makes it look like it's like some like French expose somewhere off in the it's just like that's not supposed to look like a dope yellow jacket. It's supposed to look terrible, but it didn't look terrible.
The funny thing, I know Matt's not here, but Matt absolutely hates cooking, and he had to play the chef. And I remember like watching him.
So he's really acting.
So he was really acting because
yeah.
He was like, bro, I hate cooking. Like he was so mad every day that he had to go work with the chef. So that was pretty funny to see.
The chef was my mom, by the way.
He's like, oh, that's Ryan's mom. He's like, oh, bro, I gotta change. He's like, I gotta make sure I'm not being mean to her because I almost snapped on her a couple times.
So actually, this next question is kind of funny. Just because of the layout I have in gallery view, you know, it shows like a top 6. And I know that this movie goes between kind of the end of MySpace, the beginning of Instagram. MySpace, of course, had the top 8. So I want to know from everyone in here, if you had to make that top 8 now, who is in your, give me the first 2 spots of your top 8.
I'm gonna play it safe. She knows who she is, and God's
not on MySpace, man, but all right.
I feel like I'm gonna put my wife, of course. I'm gonna put Leanne first. I'd probably put my brother second, and then I'll just put like a bunch of like artists so that none of my friends feel the type of way. And I'll be like, bro, it's like Jay-Z and, you know, Nas, Eminem, and Denzel, and a bunch of celebrities that way my friends won't be like, well, why ain't in your top 8? That was the trick that I learned when I was on MySpace. I was like, put like, you know, rappers and stuff so that nobody could feel away.
The girlfriend or the boyfriend was always that was the one spot, and you're like, oh, this is just random, you know, random people. Were any of you actually successful on MySpace before everything popped off with Instagram stuff? Because that was a whole different world, and it was a lot easier. I remember.
No, it was just as hard.
I bought all my plays, so I looked like I was popping, but really I purchased all my plays.
Remember how long it used to take to load that page?
Well, the HTML that you would everyone bedazzled their pages.
I would just like you guys to know that I never used MySpace.
You lie.
I don't even know how to use it.
Tosin had Black Planet.
Yeah, he did.
I sure didn't. I sure didn't. I got on Facebook as a dare because there was a girl I liked, and I've regretted it every day since.
So she would have been in your one spot. If you started MySpace because of her, she would have had that one spot, and then until your regret kicked in.
Yes, you're right.
So what was it like filming overseas in Abu Dhabi? And of course, during COVID, so I'm sure that made things super complicated as well, or maybe it didn't. Can you kind of just run through that?
Yeah, it was amazing. We were just really, really lucky with how people treated us there, and the accommodation, and just the collaboration of having to work with an entire new team in Abu Dhabi, and they have to, you know, kind of pick up the pace and work with the team that we had in Chicago. And we were really lucky. We got to film in some amazing, amazing locations that, you know, is not very easy to go halfway across the world and get right into those best locations. So we were really like cream of the crop, you know, treated like very, very well there. And it was a great experience. It was hot as hell. There was a lot of scenes where we were outside melting and coming back inside, but the makeup did great, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, there, nobody has a single sweat drop. Like, how is that possible? Because we were, so you can't tell in the movie, but yeah, beautiful locations, treated really well, hot as hell. And yeah.
Logistically, like what were some of the challenges, I guess?
Before Steph, talk about working with Samir and Jumana.
Okay, so that was another thing from the group that all of the cast and the crew, I was the only one who speaks Arabic. So it was kind of cool for me to have that little thing where I was like, oh, now I'm in, you know, my home base kind of thing, even though I'm not from Abu Dhabi, but I'm half Syrian. My mom is Syrian. She's actually from a minority of Christians there. So a lot of people think, oh, Arabs are all Muslims, but the original Christ is from the Sea of Galilee, where my grandma's from. And all of my aunts, I come from a really big family, and everyone used to watch this one show that Samer El-Masri, who plays my dad, and Jumana play a couple in this show. And it was like a hit show. Like everybody watched it, super popular. It went on for like 20 seasons, crazy show. And I grew up like as a little kid watching my aunts and my grandma and everybody watching this show. And he has a nickname in it. So when I found out, when Ryan told me on the call, like Samer El-Masri is going to play your dad and Jumana Murad, I lost it. I was like, what? Because they might not be known here so well, but over there, they're mega stars, you know? So it was such an honor. When I met him, I was like super, super nervous. I was kind of starstruck. And then I called him by his nickname from the show, and we just got along so well. And so it was really cool to have, you know, a country like Syria that's not really portrayed in movies or anything like that, then have an actor from that world, and Jumana Murad, where they played a couple already, play my parents. So that was like one of the greatest highlights for me, because they're really top of the line A-list actors that are just genuinely kind, nice people as well. So yeah.
That sounds amazing. Definitely amazing. And I guess Ryan, to kick it back, like logistically, especially during COVID and now filming in a completely different country, what were some of the challenges that, you know, maybe you didn't even come close to facing on Canal Street, or some of the other things that you've worked on?
Um, I don't even know where to begin, so I'll just say one thing. This was by far the hardest thing I've done in my entire life. I've said it on all the interviews. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Literally going. There was one day, and everybody on here was there. So the racetrack day was impossibly hard. If you ever seen Ghostbusters 2, and I'm dating myself or whatever, if you ever seen Ghostbusters 2, where there's this ooze that, like, if it gets on you, it makes you react a certain way. So the whole crew had ooze. Everybody had ooze. It was like 152 on the racetrack that day. We're shooting on tar, right? And the sun is just beating. There's no shade. Like, it's hot. But it ended up being some of the best footage we shot by far in the whole film. But you know, it was hard. It was tough. It was pressure. It was a lot of pressure. Going from being, first of all, still being an independent film, not backed by a studio, going from Chicago to Abu Dhabi, literally, like, with no backing from a studio, was tough. Was tough. It was really tough. And I'm not even sugarcoating. There's no sugarcoating to go on with that. I know, Bishop, you can speak to that.
If there's a better word than tough, we'll try to find it. But the pressure of not just working in the heat, but the pressure of working in another country is also a challenge, because we have to go under so many different protocols. I mean, there were times that we were hoping to go to the mosque, and we would have had to change our whole flow just to go there. And it was going to be an exciting moment, But at the end of the day, when you think about how you have to restructure your mindset to enter another person's culture and to assure yourself that you're not offending their country and you don't want to offend their religion, all of that becomes something that you have to reset your or recalibrate so that you can make sure the authenticity of the film is still there at the same time, and the respect. So it's pressure, but it's good pressure. As soon as the pressure lifts, you start to feel a lot better.
All right, so you guys, or most of you, are influencers playing influencers. So in real life, who would you want to actually play you in your influencer story if that movie gets made someday? Let's start with Don, because Don really looks like he's feeling the question. He's really wondering.
I guess I'm gonna have, who would I have play me?
Guy with the gun.
I would have
charges.
like Michael Ealy or Jesse Williams play me. My doppelganger.
Ryan said the guy with the gun charges.
Yeah.
whatever his name is.
Yeah. What's his name? Jeremy
I have
Meeks.
Jeremy Meeks play me.
That's
The
great.
funny thing is, Jeremy Meeks, I ran into him at a party and he asked me to play him in his life story. I'm like, yo, I'll play you and then you play me.
Y'all should have everybody who whoever who do they say you look like? Toast. That's what you should play. That's who should play you.
They say I look like the guy who plays Daniel from Insecure. His name is Elon Noel. I'd be cool if he played me. He a good actor. That'd be dope. And oh man, shoot, I get all the ladies if he played me. That'd be great.
I'm interested in seeing John Washington play you.
I've seen there's this 8-year-old kid that I think would be great at playing Wes.
Talking about the kid from Stranger Things, Caleb?
Yeah.
Eddie Griffin?
He's a little taller than you though.
I was just about to say taller than you now, though.
He is.
What about you, Steph?
Oh, me too. I'm not an influencer, but
Well, you can get your
would
own
I have
movie
play me?
someday. You can get your own movie someday. So
okay.
who's gonna
About
play
my
you?
life. Maybe Alicia Vikander.
Ooh, dope.
I like her a lot. And when I got signed on, somebody was like, there's this movie, you should play her sister and all this stuff. But I really like her acting and her career. And she's also European and, broke through the American film industry. So.
And Ryan, what about you? What director would you trust to tell your story?
Wes.
Oh, so that was easy. All right, so now you got to pick an actor then.
To play me?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to get this dude all the time. I don't get him anymore though. I might mean gain weight. What's the dude from dang it, man. Pooch Hall. I used to get Pooch Hall all the time when I was younger. I don't get him no more.
Last question is what's kind of the life of this film? Like, can it go beyond BET Plus? Is there a certain time that it has to be on there? Are you hoping for it to go on more streaming?
I'll say this real quick, so our distributors will kill us. We want to build with BET Plus. We want to take that platform and continue to do what people like Tyler Perry and Issa Rae have done and are currently doing right now with that platform, which is reshaping and rebranding content for creators that don't normally get the break because they're competing with Netflix and they're competing with Amazon, and things like that. But you look at a movie like Girls Trip that did $100 million, it's BET Plus. It's an original movie. So I will say that.
I didn't mean that as a negative. I'll put that note in also for your distributors. It wasn't a negative question.
No, it's all good.
Was there a hope aside from the premieres that there'd be a theatrical release?
Oh, there will be a theatrical release.
Oh, there will be.
Internationally, we'll go theatrical.
Okay.
Just we are in the world right now with COVID and protocols, and every day it's a new strand. We felt that not keeping this away from the world till the summer of or next year. This is like timing. This is all about timing. And like this project is great to be coming out right now. It's great to be paired up with Kevin Hart of Hollywood, and just it's good timing right now. And I feel like everybody that's a part of this movie is moving really quickly towards even more stardom than they were before, and they're killing it. So it's like I don't even know if y'all would be able to be in this movie this time next year. Not happening. Y'all are all killing it. Look, Stephanie and Tosin smiling. Look at that.
No way. Are you kidding? It's a dream for any actor to keep working with the same director because you build a relationship and an ensemble, right? Tosin, you can attest to that. Like,
Nah, she lying. The price is going up.
Yeah.
Today's price and yesterday's price.
Yeah, but Ryan's gonna go. His price is gonna go up with you, so you could keep going together.
That's real.
I got you, Ryan. So starting with Tosin, kind of as a final word, what do you want people to take away from this film after they watch it?
Absolutely, that's easy. This movie is about artists who are struggling to find their niche and struggling to find their place, and they experience the ups and downs of that. But I think the lesson that we learn is what keeps them up, what helps them survive, what helps them thrive is that they lean on each other, their community, their brotherhood, to get through the downs. And really anyone from any profession can identify with this, and especially people who are new and newly emerging into their careers. They're going to face some bad experiences, and they're going to get no's, and they're going to get rejection. And when you cultivate a community that is loving and supportive, which is something that Black men especially need to be willing and capable of doing, you can push through anything, you can survive, and you can still reach all of your dreams.
Yeah, I think I'd like to echo Tosin. It's the brotherhood aspect, having each other's back, and really, like I always say, betting on yourself. I think that's a big thing because you can doubt yourself, and then you have that person that's there to push you, to reassure you to bet on yourself.
I really want people to be motivated by this film to chase their dreams. You know what I mean? We got one life here, and there's so many people that wake up regretting not have really taken a chance at their dreams, that I want people to watch this film and really take a chance on their dreams. And also, look to your left and right and see how you can come up with your friends or your circle, and just be motivated, man, and move in love and joy. And that's really what I hope people get from this project.
And on a side note, as a woman and a female, for me, I hope that people take away the message of female empowerment too. A girl who lives in a very sheltered life, quite naive, innocent about the world, and really wants to be independent. And there are countless girls that I know that are in this situation, also from my culture, from living here in the States and seeing forbidden love and what that entails, whether it's ethnicity or race or religion or whatever it is. There are a lot of people who are struggling with that. So it's nice to represent that on screen and show independence and female empowerment through that, and growth, and just being inspired by that. So I hope people take that away. Yeah.